Okay, so good morning or good afternoon, class. So this is a review lesson on solutions of quadratic equation by completing the square and by quadratic formula and the nature of roots or the discriminant. Okay, so we start now. First, I'm going to discuss with you on how to solve or find the solution of a quadratic equation by completing the square. Okay, now using the square root method to solve a quadratic equation only works if they can be written in a square of a binomial. And to write the square of the binomial, we start with the perfect square trinomial. For example, here we have here x squared plus 8x plus 16. And to make this as into a factored form, you're going to get 1/2 of the middle term. And the middle term is 8. So 1/2 of 8 is 4. And 16, to write 16, you get the square root. The square root is 4. So therefore, the factored form of this trinomial is x squared plus 4 squared, because 1/2 of 8 is 4 and the square root of 16 is 4. So therefore, this is now in a perfect square trinomial, and this is also a perfect square trinomial, but this is in the factored form. And we have this. So we have this x here, and since this is negative, we copy negatives and get 1/2 of 6, which is 3. Then he squared it. So 1/2 of 6 is 3. And then we're going to square this. So this is now in the factored form. Okay? And the process of writing a quadratic equation so that one side is a perfect square trinomial is called completing the square. Okay? Example. Solve x squared plus 2x minus 3 for x by completing the square. So first we need to find the square of the half of the coefficient of the linear term. So the linear term is 2x. Okay? So we write now x squared plus 2x plus blank is equal to, since the constant here is -3, we're going to transpose this to the other side of the equation, and this becomes +3 plus blank. And what is the blank here? The blank here is you're going to get 1/2 of the middle term, and since our middle term is 2, 1/2 of 2 is 1. And we're going to square this. So since this is an equation, so what you add to the left side, you are also going to add to the right side. Okay? So we also add here 1 squared, which is equal to 1. And then simplify. Since this is now a perfect squared, so we have now 2x plus 1 is equal to 3 plus 1 is equal to 4. So we are going to change this to a, a factored form. So we have, you copy x, then you copy the sign of the middle term. So what did we add? 1. So 1/2 of 2 is 1, and then you squared it. So therefore this is 4. Okay? Now after we add both sides with 1 and simplify it by finding the factor form of a perfect trinomial, and then we're going to simplify by extracting the square root. Since we have to remove here 2, in order to remove 2 here, we're going to get the square roots of both sides, and you get the positive and the negative. So the square root of x plus 1 squared is x plus 1, and the square root, find or get the positive negative, the square root of 4 is equal to 2. Therefore, we have now the roots. X is equal to, we're going to transpose this, that becomes -1, and then we copy plus 2. We have -1 plus 2 is equal to 1. And the other roots is -1 minus 2 is equal to -3. Therefore, now we have now the roots of this quadratic equation, which these are the roots, which are the 1, which is 1, and -3. Okay? This is now the roots of the quadratic equation. X squared plus 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. Okay? Another example. Using the completing the square. Number 2. Okay? If we have p squared minus 6p plus 4 equal to 0. Okay? First, to change this to get, this is squared plus blank equals to, transpose this becomes -4 plus blank. Okay? And this blank will be 1/2 of 6 is 3, then is squared. So, the same here, at the right, we also add 3 squared. So therefore, since this is now a perfect square, we have now perfect trinomial. So we copy the side, and what did we add? Which is 1/2 of 6 is equal to 3, and then is squared. Here, we're going to simplify -4 plus 9. Okay? And then, we are now going to simplify p minus 3 squared is equal to 5, because -4, then get the square root, so we have now p minus 3 is equal to the positive and the negative is square root of 5. Okay? And then, therefore, the roots are p is equal to positive 3 plus positive negative square root of 5. So this is now, these are the roots of the equation. Okay? So one positive and the other one is negative. Okay? Now, how do we solve, or what are the steps in on how to find the solution by completing the square? Okay? First, we're going to multiply the coefficients of the linear term by 1/2, and then square the result. Okay, okay. So for you to understand more, we have another example. We have 2x squared minus x minus 3 is equal to 0. Okay, using this, completing the square. First, we must divide both sides of the equation by the coefficients of the quadratic, which is -2, -2, -2 over 2, or and then divide. So we have now x squared minus x over 2, then plus blank is equal to, this now becomes positive 3/2 plus blank. So this is now equal to 0. And then simplify. X squared minus 1/2 x is the same as x over 2 plus blank. And this blank, I just rewrite it. Okay. This blank is 1/2 of 2. Okay, 1/2 of 2. So 1/2 of 2, 1/2, I have 1/2, this is 1/2. So 1/2 of, excuse me class, so this is 1/2 of 1/2. Okay, so 1/2 times 1/2 is equal to 1/4. Then is squared. So here we also add 1/4 is squared. Okay, so therefore we have now x minus, so what did you add? 1/4. Then you square this, equals 3 over 2 plus 1 over 16. Okay, so we're going to simplify this, equals to the LCD is 16 divided by 2 is equal to 8 times 3 is 24 plus, so 16 divided by 2 is 8 times 3 is 24. 16 divided by 16 is 1 times 1 is 1. So this is now x minus 1/4 is squared. Okay, and then we continue. This is now x minus 1/4 squared equals, so we have now, so we have here 24 plus 1 is equal to 25. So 25 over 16. Okay, and then subtract the root, positive, negative, square root. Then the square root of x minus 1/4 is x squared is x minus 1/4 equals to, get a positive and a negative, square root of 25 is 5, the square root of 16 is 4. And then simplify, x is equal to, transpose positive 1/4 using positive 5 over 4. So we have now 1 plus 5 is 6 over 4, or the lowest term is 6 divided by 2 is 3 over 2. This is one of the roots. And another root is 1/4 using negative 5 halves, 5 over 4. 1 minus 5 is negative 4 over 4. Therefore, one of the roots again, another root is negative 1. So these are now the roots of the equation using the completing the square. Okay? Now, I'm going to teach you on how to get the solution using the quadratic formula. Okay, using the quadratic formula. Okay, so the quadratic formula was derived from the completing the square is x is equal to negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac. And I have a video on this one. Okay, so for example, we get the same example on completing the square. So if we have 2x squared minus x minus 3. So we're going to solve this using quadratic formula. First, you're going to find the value of a, which is equal to 2, b is equal to negative 1, and c is equal to negative 3. Okay? Then, substitute to the formula. Negative 1 is b is negative 1 plus minus b is negative 1 squared minus 4 a is 1 rather 2, and then c is equal to negative 3 over 2 times 2. So equals now to 1 plus minus square root of 1 negative times negative is positive. Okay, this is now 8 times 3 is equals to 24 over 4. So we have now 1 plus minus square root of 25 is 5 over 4. And then we have now the roots equals 1 plus 5 over 4 equals to 6 over 4, or the lowest term is 3 halves. And the other root, we have 1 minus 5 over 4 equals negative 4 over 4. Therefore, x is equal to negative 1. Okay? Another example on finding the quadratic formula. So that is now the same as yung quadratic, or okay, another example. So if we have t squared plus 12t plus 25. So plug in negative 12 plus minus square root of b is 12 squared minus 4 a c is 25 over 2 times 1. So we have negative 12 plus minus, we have 12 times 12 is 144 minus 100 over 2. Then we have negative 12 plus minus 100, we have 44 over 2. So therefore, this is now your, so we have negative 12 plus minus 44 is 4 times 11 over 2. Therefore, negative 12 divided by 2 is negative 6 plus minus square root of 4 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. What remains now is square root of 11. So therefore, this is now the roots of the equation, one positive and the other negative. Okay. How about discriminant? Okay, so in our next lesson, video lesson, we will take up the discriminant. Okay, so thank you for listening. So I hope this will help you in understanding quadratic formula and completing the square. And please watch and take notes on this lesson. And I will all again post the part 2 of this review on finding this discriminant of the quadratic equations. Okay.